28th, 2017, Officer Wagner of the Laguna Beach Police Department was surprisingly arrested by the Fullerton Police Department. This occurred right after he had finished shopping by his home. Coordinated at the same time, his sister Wendy Wagner, her boyfriend James McBride, were also arrested at their homes. Roland Wagner, the father of Rock and Wendy, was removed from the Wagner-McBride home where he had been living and receiving loving care for the past 9 months. A devastating blow came to the family when Roland died shortly thereafter on February 24th, 2018. 3 days after their unnecessary arrests, allegations of fraud and elder abuse were announced by the Fullerton Police Department in a media and press release, which is displayed beside me. Nowhere in this media release did it state that the victims were the parents of my clients. It only stated that they conspired to commit elder abuse and fraud against innocent victims. On February 1st, 2018, after a thorough review of the case, we were very happy when the Orange County District Attorney's Office refused to file any criminal charges whatsoever against Officer Wagner, against Wendy Wagner, against James McBride. The Laguna Beach Police Department also did its own very thorough investigation against Officer Wagner and cleared him of any wrongdoing whatsoever. The Laguna Beach Police Department also put together a press release, which is displayed here today. Additionally, behind me are members of the Laguna Beach Police Department who are here on their own free will and taking up their own time to be here in support of a wonderful officer who served our community for many, many years. On behalf of my clients, we would also like to express our gratitude to the men and the women of the Orange County District Attorney's Office and the Laguna Beach Police Department who took their time in ethically and professionally reviewing this case and determining that my clients had nothing to do with any type of criminal actions whatsoever. We sincerely thank them all for exonerating my clients. Officer Wagner, Wendy Wagner, and James McBride wanted me to read the following statement to the press. We are deeply saddened by this entire chain of egregious events that eventually concluded in our father's unnecessary death. We all feel this was a travesty that was committed upon us. Rock's home was searched in front of his wife and children, and Wendy and James were arrested in their home while caring for Roland Wagner. After having to post $150,000 of bail and eventually being released from custody, we were crushed and humiliated 3 days later to see the mugshots of Rock and James on TV and online. We are law-abiding, good residents of this great county and had our good names taken away from us. We are here today to restore our characters and reputations and to celebrate our innocence. Thank you all for being here and sharing this time with us. I will now open it up if there's any questions.
Mike, were you asserting that there were missteps taken in this? I mean, is that what you are asserting at this point?
I'm asserting that there are different ways that a case is prosecuted. In this case, I don't know why Fullerton Police Department arrested my clients. All I know is that after arresting him, the district attorney reviewed the case and decided not to file any charges whatsoever. Why that wasn't done beforehand, you have to ask Fullerton.
Mike, when you hear that the DA was the one to actually refer this case initially, that they had received reports, then took it to the police department to investigate, I mean, does that draw concern for you at this point?
Not at all. Not at all. I think anytime there's any allegation whatsoever, I don't care if that allegation is false or that allegation is true. I think the men and women of law enforcement have a duty to investigate. And upon investigation and determining whether or not somebody did it or not, that's then the time that you take the correct action.
So will you seek any sort of damages or anything moving forward?
That's something that the families are going to have to decide.
Do you know how this case got on Fullerton PD's radar?
I don't know. That's something you're going to have to talk to Fullerton PD about. I don't know how it got on their radar, and I don't know why they felt it necessary to arrest my clients.
You said elder abuse and fraud, those were the allegations initially. Do you know more specifics on what, because that's very broad.
Again, you're going to have to ask Fullerton Police Department, because all of the investigation that we have conducted, all of the investigation led on a path to my client's innocence. And that's why we're so happy that the media is here today. Unfortunately, a lot of times we see bad things on the media. This is something we wanted to show good for the media, and that was 3 people whose lives could have been destroyed and are now restored because they are in fact innocent.
Rock, any idea who would make these kinds of allegations against you? Or Mike, you can speak for Rock.
Sure, thank you. We don't know exactly. Those are going to be some things that we're going to have to find out. What we're here to celebrate is the fact that whoever made these allegations and whatever was stated were found to be untrue. And Rock is back at work. Wendy can run her business again without having people, fear that she's a criminal. James can go back to what he's doing without having nightmares of his picture on TV. So that's really the celebration for today.
Are you alleging then that Fullerton Police Department's procedure was, wrong, improper, needs to be changed?
We're not alleging any procedural problems. We're not alleging anything against Fullerton. I would be curious to find out why they decided to arrest my clients, especially in light of an investigation that was conducted by the DA's office, by the Laguna Beach Police Department, which within 2 months, the case was gone. So I don't know if Fullerton had done that same investigation and not arrested my clients, in 2 months would the case have been dropped with them too. So in answering your question, I don't know why they did what they did.
Mike, at some point, I'm sure a judge had to sign an arrest warrant in order to move forward. I mean, that is the legal procedure, right? I mean,
not necessarily. That's not necessarily the legal procedure to be done. Police may make arrests on what's called probable cause. And again, the avenue that Fullerton took to arrest my clients, that's something that I think you're going to have to take up with them.
In addition to lost work, reputation, how much real money did this cost your client?
It cost my clients a lot of money. A lot of money. I mean, we're talking about everything from being out of work, everything from posting their bail, everything from legal representation, all the costs that go along with being accused, whether you're rightfully accused or wrongfully accused. If you're rightfully accused, then sometimes you think, well, you know what, that person had it coming to them. They should have to pay the money that they paid because they did wrong. In this case, you had good people pay good money for something they never did.
Talk about also the emotional aspect, because your clients, I mean, your father died during this whole process.
Well, this has been devastating for them. Not only on November 28th, their father was living with Wendy and James. He was in very good health. He was very, very happy. He loved their dog that he played with all the time. James had actually stayed home to care for Roland. So I think they can take that with them, knowing that those 9 months plus that they lived with them, they brought him happiness. The hard part was this. Once they were arrested, he was taken away out of the home. They could no longer have contact with him. They could no longer care for him. And unfortunately, on February 24th, they got that call that they didn't want to get, which was that he had passed away.
Do you think they'll file a claim just for their monetary loss against the county?
You know, that's something my clients are going to have to determine on their own. That's their decision.
Will you advise them on it?
That's going to be their decision, and whatever they want, whatever they path that they want to take will be the path that they take. Okay. Thank you all for coming. Really appreciate it.
Thanks, Mike.
Okay.